the huge news that everyone's been talking about. Zayn Malik has left One Direction, and his reason was that he's a 22-year-old kid and he wants to have a life outside of the spotlight. He wants to have a private life. And of course, the band has been really supportive. So has Simon Cowell, who discovered them. And they are going to just keep moving forward. But meanwhile, there has been a little bit of some aftermath, some collateral damage. And we're going to talk about all the different fan reactions. Okay, so first we have from Stiles Wannabe, I had to run to the restroom during class, hashtag Zayn, hashtag might die. From the Bieber thing, when Zayn leaves One Direction and the Directioners at my school are crying, wait, I actually feel bad. From Supernatural Luis, when your bio teacher asks if you're okay, does it look like I'm okay? Zayn Malik left One Direction. And go, Francis.
Okay, so at Defiant Cameron says, okay, I'm crying so hard. Zayn is the most important person in my life. Wow. Okay, and at Maggie M. Kreisman says, when all the boys are confused as to why girls are crying and who Zayn is, and it's a bunch of pictures of girls crying all over the place. And finally, at Learn Smile, everywhere I go, I see Zayn and I can't stop crying. I feel your pain.
Oh, I can't wait to elaborate on that one.
I would love to cite the names of all these people who are tweeting, but like it all blends into me. It's all the same person. So guys, help, I can't breathe. I'm sobbing. They said can't twice. I can't kid. And then the second one is actually worse spelled than the first. I'm crying. Is he Lenifka? Lenifka. And what is Hapsos? Like people just start convulsing is what I'm learning from the spelling of this. Just photos people are posting of girls just crying in the middle of class.
Devastated. Absolutely devastated. All right, so first thoughts, 5 words or less.
At least it wasn't Harry.
Ooh.
Oh, the insanity.
To your point, at least it wasn't Louis.
There you go.
I like
Oh,
it.
wow.
Okay, so
Are you physically attracted to
yes,
these
I am
guys?
physically attracted to Harry and Louis.
Okay.
Physically attracted, without a doubt, and I'm not embarrassed to admit that.
Yeah.
But you seem really upset, so
Well,
please elaborate.
I was just sympathizing with the group because when I was younger, I loved a band called Take That. Openly admit that they were a great band back in the day, and the guy Robbie Williams, who's still going around with a single, he left. Yeah, he left, but then he came back. Like, I don't think it's the end of the world. I think that these kids are great musicians, but I don't think any of them stand a chance being on their own. And I think that if he wants to be normal, but I think once you're in that band, you're never going to be normal. It's like Barack Obama just saying, oh, I just want to go and be a shop clerk.
What did you think about his reason for leaving?
You will have so much time once One Direction fizzles into obscurity to live a normal life. In the meantime, my friend, go make some cash.
Yeah.
Cash in, live it up. I mean, unless you're prohibitively rich at this point in your life and you feel like the whole, thing's about to crash and burn, then just stay with it.
Is it better to burn out than to fade away?
They're not even at the peak of their fame. They're like approaching the peak of their fame. So I understand what you're saying. Clearly, this wasn't the lifestyle that he wanted, because you would imagine their schedule's crazy, right? I'm sure it's every day, all day, 365 days a year. Who knows how often they have time to be with their family? Maybe he has a girlfriend, maybe he has a boyfriend.
I think he's engaged.
You're engaged. Okay.
There's a lot of weird relationship rumor mill going on. Some people are calling this one girl that he was seen in a photo with like the Yoko Ono who's breaking up the group. Oh. And imagine that, teenage girls indulging in rumor mill activity.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Sam, I have a question for you. You've represented yourself on this show as kind of a punk fan.
Yeah.
Not like a punk like you beat people up.
Come on, dude, let's go do those crimes.
But like a punk rock fan. Did you ever go through a boy band phase?
Yeah, well, I always had eclectic taste. So I think my go-to was always punk rock, because I needed like a fast music to get me pumped up for swimming. So that was the main reason why I gravitated towards punk and to metal. But yeah, back in the day, I still loved Madonna. I still loved NSYNC. I didn't have an NSYNC album, but I would definitely like turn up the radio when they came on.
So I see all these girls crying.
Yeah.
And I can't tell if they're just being dramatic because they're 11 or like there's a real feeling of loss here.
I never really was that. I mean, I am a fangirl to the degree of like I held up a sparkly sign for Gwen Stefani at the age of like 30. But no. Wow, that's embarrassing. But I don't think I ever would have been the person to cry. I never got that fully invested. But you have to understand that a lot of these girls, sometimes they pour their pain into a One Direction album, and so they do have their posters all over the wall. They do have these fantasies about them, and then when their favorite band in their mind is broken up because one of the members is missing, they react like it's someone that their best friend.
Right.
But I never was that person, so I can't give you any additional insight. I'm sorry.
To be fair, I'm not a huge fanboy of them, but there hasn't been this much buzz about a British band in the United States since the Beatles, since this One Direction. Right?
I want to say Spice Girls.
They're not as big as the Beatles, and I hate when people make that comparison. But they have created such a huge market here, and the fact that these young, most of them will be American girls, I believe. They've just become so attached to them. It's this different culture, this different thing that they stand for, because like the Beatles did. Like when the Beatles were here, people were in tears seeing them.
But all they do is push you farther and farther away, and then they don't even let you see them.
And when One Direction's here, they're in tears, and now that someone's leaving, they're going to be even more tears. It's just the effect that they have.
So what do you guys think about Zayn Malik leaving One Direction? What do you guys think about all the fan reaction? And if you had a similar reaction, please share in the comment section below. I know Brett wants some additional insight, so please provide it. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Facebook at The Real Pop Trigger. Is that correct? The Real Pop Trigger? Sure. You guys know. Pop Trigger, The Real Pop Trigger. We'll see you guys all next time on Pop Trigger.